Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like your mind and emotions are controlling you rather than the other way around? Like the weight of your thoughts and feelings is holding you back from living the life you truly deserve? I want you to know right now that this does not have to be your reality. You have the power to take control. You have the power to not just survive, but to thrive. To live each day with a sense of peace, clarity, and unwavering strength. You have the ability to not just react to life's challenges, but to take charge of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions so you can live with purpose, passion, and joy. Today, I'm going to share with you 15 powerful tips, proven tools that will not just help you manage your mind and emotions, but will help you master them. Imagine waking up every day with complete control over your emotional state, your thoughts, and your decisions. Imagine having the ability to shift your mindset in an instant, to overcome any obstacle, to rise above any doubt, to take action that leads you toward the life you've always dreamed of. This journey is about taking your power back, about understanding that you are the architect of your emotional destiny. Now, if you're ready to break through the limitations that have been holding you back, if you're ready to turn your struggles into stepping stones, then stick with me. What you're about to hear will give you the tools you need to transform your mind, your emotions, and ultimately your life. So let's begin. When you begin to take ownership of your thoughts, everything changes. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that the world around you is the one calling the shots. We get caught up in the idea that our circumstances control our feelings, that other people's words or actions dictate how we react. But the truth is, your mind is the most powerful force in your life. And it's time to realize that the moment you take full responsibility for the thoughts you think, you regain control of your emotional state, your choices, and ultimately, your destiny. The first step in taking ownership of your mind is understanding the immense power you have over it. Your thoughts shape everything about your experience. Think about it. If you wake up in the morning and immediately start thinking about all the things you have to do, all the obstacles, the stresses, the challenges, guess what's going to happen? Your day is going to unfold exactly as you've imagined it, filled with frustration, doubt, and anxiety. But if instead you choose to focus on what you're grateful for, what you're excited about, or how capable you are, suddenly your world starts to shift. It's not magic, it's the law of focus. What you focus on expands. Here's the key. You always have a choice in the thoughts you entertain. Yes, some thoughts will come into your mind uninvited. We all have moments of doubt, fear, or negative self-talk, but it's what you do with those thoughts that matters. You don't have to believe every thought that crosses your mind. You don't have to let them control you. Instead, you have the power to challenge those thoughts, reframe them, and choose new ones that serve you. Think of your mind like a garden. If you let weeds grow unchecked, they'll take over and choke out any potential for beautiful flowers. But yes, if you actively tend to your garden, if you pull out the weeds and nurture the plants you want to thrive, you create an environment where growth can happen naturally. Your thoughts are like seeds. You plant them every moment of every day, whether consciously or unconsciously. Some thoughts will naturally sprout up, but you can choose which seeds you water and which ones you let go. This doesn't mean that life won't throw curveballs at you, or that you'll never experience negative emotions. I mean, that's a part of being human. But what it does mean is that you can choose how you respond to those challenges. You get to decide how long you stay in a negative state and whether or not you let it define your day, your week, or your life. When you take ownership of your thoughts, you also take ownership of your reactions. You no longer react impulsively to the world around you. You begin to respond with intention. Now, imagine waking up each day with the awareness that your mind is your most powerful ally. What would that feel like? If you could begin each day by setting your intentions, by choosing thoughts that empower you, rather than letting random thoughts determine how you feel or what you do, your life would begin to take on a new momentum. This doesn't require perfection, it requires presence. It's about being conscious of where your mind is and steering it in a direction that serves your highest good. The key to mastering your mind is practicing the art of awareness. Awareness is what allows you to break free from automatic thinking patterns that no longer serve you. It's about catching yourself when your mind starts to spiral into negativity and redirecting your thoughts. And here's the most important part. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Just like building any new habit, the more you consciously choose empowering thoughts, the more they'll become your default. And over time, your mind will naturally begin to support you in achieving your goals and living your best life. Remember, your mind is not something that happens to you, it's something you can actively shape and direct. Every moment you spend believing that your mind is a prisoner to external circumstances is a moment you give up your power. But when you claim that power, when you step into the truth that you can choose your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, you create a life that is completely in alignment with your vision. So I challenge you, begin today, start with the awareness that you are the creator of your thoughts. Catch yourself when you start to go down a negative path and consciously choose a different thought. Shift your mindset from one of reaction to one of creation. In every moment, you have the power to choose. And that choice is the key to mastering your mind and emotions. You don't need to wait for the world to change in order to change how you feel. You can take full ownership of your thoughts right now in this moment. And that, my friend, is where your true power lies. When it comes to mastering your emotions, one of the most powerful tools you can use is simple action. It's a universal truth that emotions are not fixed states. They are fluid, dynamic, and can be influenced by what we do with our bodies. You've heard it before, motion creates emotion. This is not just a catchy phrase, it's the foundation of how you can break free from negative emotional states and elevate yourself to a place of strength, clarity, and confidence. The way you move in the world directly impacts the way you feel. And when you learn to leverage this, you'll unlock a power that changes everything. Think about it for a moment. How do you feel when you're slouched over, shoulders heavy, head down? What's the emotional state that comes with that posture? It's likely that you'll feel drained, tired, maybe even a bit defeated. But now, what happens if you stand tall, shoulders back, chest open, and take a deep, confident breath? Instantly, you feel a surge of energy, a lift in your mood, a sense of power and possibility. Why? Because your body and your emotions are intrinsically linked. The state of your body affects the state of your mind. This connection between body and emotion is not a coincidence. It's a feedback loop. How you move affects how you feel, and how you feel influences how you move. But here's the key. You don't have to wait for the perfect emotional state to take action. In fact, it's the other way around. It's by taking action that you create the emotional state you desire. You have the ability to shift your emotions in an instant by deliberately changing your physiology, your posture, and your behavior. Think about a time when you've been in a challenging or tough situation. Maybe you were stressed out, overwhelmed, or uncertain. Now imagine that in the midst of that moment, you decided to break the pattern. Instead of staying in that state of tension and anxiety, you chose to do something physical. Maybe you went for a walk, did a few jumping jacks, or even danced to your favorite song. What happened? In just a few moments, your mind and your emotions shifted. The stress you were feeling started to dissipate. You felt lighter, more focused, more energized. This is because action is the quickest way to disrupt negative emotions and shift your state. When you're in a negative emotional spiral, it can feel like you're trapped. But by engaging your body in movement, whether it's stretching, running, or even just standing up and stretching your arms to the sky, you send a powerful signal to your brain that changes the way you feel. It's as though you're telling your body, I am in control. I am not at the mercy of my emotions. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I don't feel like taking action? Or what if I'm stuck in a moment of frustration or fear? Here's the truth. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like taking action. Action is not dependent on how you feel. It's a choice. In fact, taking action in the face of discomfort is what builds emotional resilience. It's what separates those who are merely reactive from those who are proactive. The moment you choose to move, to break the pattern, you take the first step toward transforming your emotional state. The key is to act even when you don't feel like it. Think about the power of consistent, small action. It doesn't have to be a dramatic change. It's often the small, deliberate actions you take every day that build emotional strength and set the tone for your entire life. Maybe it's taking a brisk walk every morning to start your day, or choosing to smile even when things aren't going your way. Maybe it's starting your day with a few minutes of stretching or deep breathing to center yourself. These small actions repeated consistently send a message to your body and mind that you are in control of your emotions. One of the greatest tools to control your emotions is simply to take action that aligns with your desired emotional state. If you want to feel more energized, move. If you want to feel more confident, stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with purpose. If you want to feel more grateful, take a moment to pause and act by expressing your gratitude out loud. Every action you take, no matter how small, reinforces the emotional state you want to create. It's important to understand that you have more control over your emotional experience than you may have ever realized. And the key to unlocking that power lies in taking action. Action doesn't just influence how you feel in the moment, it has a cumulative effect. Over time, as you consciously choose to act in ways that empower you, you'll find that your emotional resilience grows stronger. You'll be able to navigate challenges with a calm, focused mindset, knowing that no matter what comes your way, you have the power to shift your state and take control. So remember, the next time you feel overwhelmed, stressed, or emotionally drained, don't wait for the emotion to change. Change your state by changing your action. Step into your power by moving your body, by shifting your posture, by engaging in action that aligns with the person you want to become. This is your gateway to mastering your emotions. And it starts with moving in the direction of the life you want to create. Imagine for a moment that you're facing a challenge in your life. Maybe it's a personal setback, a professional obstacle, or something that feels completely out of your control. In that moment, it's easy to start seeing the world as an enemy. It's easy to think that everything is working against you, that life is unfair, that you're at the mercy of circumstances. But let me tell you something. What you're facing is not the problem. How you choose to view it is. The truth is, you have the power to change the way you see everything in your life. You can transform every challenge into an opportunity and every setback into a stepping stone toward growth. The key to all of this lies in your ability to reframe. Reframing is the simple but profound act of changing your perspective on a situation. When you learn to reframe, you stop seeing life as something happening to you and start seeing it as something happening for you. Every experience, every victory, every failure, every hardship holds a lesson, a gift, and an opportunity for growth. But it's up to you to find it. And once you do, your entire experience of the world begins to shift. Let me explain how powerful this can be. Think about a time in your life when something didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a failure in your career, a relationship that fell apart, or a goal that you didn't achieve. If you looked at that situation through the lens of failure, you might have felt defeated, frustrated, or even hopeless. But what if instead you chose to see that moment as a stepping stone? What if you reframed it and decided that the failure wasn't something to fear, but something to learn from? That setback? It's simply a lesson that you needed to get where you're going. It's an opportunity to grow, to adapt, and to become stronger than you were before. When you change your perspective like that, something amazing happens. You stop being a victim of your circumstances. You start becoming the master of them. Instead of staying stuck in a negative emotional state, you begin to see solutions. Instead of focusing on what's not working, you start to focus on what you can do next, how you can take action, how you can use the situation to your advantage. This shift is incredibly powerful. It's the difference between seeing yourself as someone who is constantly struggling against life and seeing yourself as someone who is always evolving and growing no matter what comes your way. This is not about ignoring or denying your feelings, but rather about choosing not to let those feelings control you. Reframing allows you to acknowledge your emotions, the fear, the frustration, the anger, but it also gives you the power to decide that those emotions don't define you. You're not just reacting to life, you're responding with purpose and clarity. One of the most empowering reframes you can make is shifting your focus from a sense of loss to a sense of gain. Every setback, every failure, every disappointment has the potential to teach you something. And once you recognize that, you begin to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities for growth. For example, let's say you didn't get that promotion you were hoping for. At first, it's natural to feel disappointed, maybe even angry. But if you step back and reframe the situation, you can ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Maybe it's a chance to improve your skills, to build stronger relationships, or to explore new opportunities that you wouldn't have considered before. What if that setback was the catalyst that pushed you to take a different path, one that leads to something even better? This shift in perspective also allows you to release the need for perfection. You no longer need to fear failure because you understand that failure is simply part of the process. It's not an end, but a beginning. Every time you reframe a challenge and see it as a learning opportunity, you're building resilience and confidence. You're becoming someone who no longer dreads the next challenge, but looks forward to it, knowing that no matter what happens, it will help you grow. And here's the most powerful part. When you begin to reframe challenges, you start to change the way your brain works. Neuroscience shows that the way we think about situations can actually change our brain's wiring. The more you practice reframing, the more you train your brain to look for solutions rather than problems, to look for opportunities instead of obstacles. You become a person who is not easily defeated, who sees every difficulty as a chance to rise higher, to expand, to become stronger. Reframing isn't about pretending that things are always easy or that every situation is perfect. It's about acknowledging the challenges while choosing to focus on the opportunities. It's about taking control of your mindset so you can shape your emotional experience instead of letting life shape it for you. So the next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, how can I reframe this? How can I see this in a way that empowers me, that strengthens me, that pushes me toward my goals? When you start asking those questions, you open up a world of possibility. You stop being held back by the past, by fear, by doubt. Instead, you step into your power as someone who can turn any situation into an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to succeed. And that is the ultimate key to mastering your mind and emotions. Let me ask you something. Do you believe in yourself? Not just in the easy moments, but in the tough ones, when everything seems uncertain and the road ahead feels unclear. The truth is, your belief in yourself, in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way, is one of the most powerful tools you can possess. When you have unshakable self-belief, you become unstoppable. You begin to make decisions, take action, and rise to challenges in a way that others can only dream of. And the best part is, self-belief is not something you're born with. It's something you can build, strengthen, and nurture every single day. It all starts with recognizing that the thoughts you have about yourself shape the reality you experience. If you believe that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve success, or that you'll never be able to overcome a challenge, guess what happens? Your actions, or lack thereof, will reflect those beliefs. You'll hold yourself back. You'll play it safe, avoid risks, and settle for less than you deserve. But when you truly believe in your worth, your potential, and your ability to succeed, your actions will reflect that. You'll push forward with confidence, take the necessary risks, and refuse to settle for anything less than your best. Building self-belief is not about ego or excuse me. It's about acknowledging your inner strength, recognizing your abilities, and trusting yourself to navigate the challenges of life. It's about knowing deep down that no matter what comes your way, you have the power to figure it out, to learn from it, and to grow stronger because of it. Self-belief is the foundation of resilience. It's the ability to rise after each fall, to keep going when the road gets tough, and to hold your head high even when the world around you seems uncertain. But here's the thing, belief doesn't come automatically. It's something you have to build and reinforce every day. It starts with the small moments. Every time you make a decision that aligns with your values, every time you take action despite fear, and every time you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, you're reinforcing your belief in yourself. These small wins, these moments of courage, determination, and persistence, slowly but surely add up. And before you know it, you've built a rock-solid foundation of self-belief. The next piece of the puzzle is focus. What you focus on, you become. If you focus on your weaknesses, your failures, and your doubts, you're only going to reinforce the belief that you're not capable, not good enough, or not worthy of success. But when you focus on your strengths, your accomplishments, and the progress you've made, you begin to shift your self-image. You start seeing yourself as someone who is capable, confident, and worthy of every success that comes your way. It's important to remind yourself regularly of what you've accomplished, even the small things. Celebrate the wins no matter how big or small. Reflect on your progress, on the challenges you've overcome, and on the growth you've experienced. This not only boosts your confidence, but it also helps to counteract the negative self-talk that can creep in during times of doubt. The more you focus on your strengths and victories, the more you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving whatever you set your mind to. Now, I want you to understand that belief is not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect set of circumstances. Self-belief is about showing up even when things aren't perfect and trusting that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes next. It's about taking action despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, and despite the setbacks. You don't have to have all the answers, but you do need to have the confidence to take the next step. And with each step you take, you'll build more belief in your ability to navigate the unknown, to trust yourself, and to keep moving forward. This brings us to one of the most powerful tools for building unshakable belief, taking massive, focused action. When you act, you prove to yourself that you're capable. When you take action, you make progress, and progress builds confidence. The more you act, the more you learn, and the more you grow. And action is the bridge between belief and success. It's what turns your self-belief into tangible results. The key is to not wait for all the stars to align or for the perfect conditions to show up. The perfect moment is now. Act now. Believe in yourself enough to take the first step, and the rest will follow. Remember, self-belief is not a one-time event. It's a process. It's something you have to nurture and reinforce daily. It's in every decision you make, in every challenge you face, and in every victory you claim. The more you build that belief, the more it becomes a part of who you are, and the more unstoppable you become. So I want you to walk away from this moment knowing that you have the power to achieve anything you set your mind to. Believe in yourself, take action, and trust that you have what it takes to create the life you want. Because the truth is, when you truly believe in yourself, there is nothing that can stand in your way.